And all
my mother with my problems because she has a perpetual victim mentality.
I'm talking about emotional support, Mom. When I needed you emotional support, you would not give it.
I was a sophomore in college when I got pregnant.
I did get pregnant when I was 17 years old.
You made the decision at 18 years old to have a baby, and I cannot raise your child for you.
What you did not give me was emotional support for an 18-year-old who had a baby who didn't know what she was doing and who is suffering from postpartum depression.
I just really need my mother to acknowledge the hurt and the pain and the things that she has done wrong.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're here. Do you think you failed him as a mother?
Absolutely. I know that I failed them.
You say you need her to acknowledge certain things instead of playing the victim. What do you mean by that?
I feel like you did give me a lot of monetary support when I started off, but that wasn't the way that I needed you. I needed you as my mom. I needed you emotionally. You knew at a very early age that I was struggling with depression really bad and that I was cutting myself and that I was, hurting myself. And, I feel like once I hit a certain age, it just didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you always saw us as like the angry little girls, the angry teenagers, and then we became women, and we were still replaying these same roles. Like, I need to control them. Like, by the time we're like, we got it, mom. You couldn't take your hands off the wheels. Like, I had gone to college. I did still have my son young, but after I got pregnant, I did join the Navy. And I still to this day can't understand when I needed you to watch the kids, you try to take custody of my kids. I trusted my kids to you, and you literally went to the courts to take rights away from me. And you went behind my back and told me after you filed. Like, I still don't know why you did that.
Is that true?
I see that differently.
Did you try to take her children away from her?
I did file for custody, but it was a conversation that actually me and you had before I filed for custody.
That's completely two different stories. Now, there aren't versions of the truth. You did or you didn't?
It was a conversation that I had with her. It wasn't without your permission.
And a conversation is not a decision.
I want to add some others to this conversation. We're going to meet Ida's younger set of twins and hear what they have to add to this conversation about the constant family drama and twin competition. Next.
I believe that my mother has always chosen men over her children. My mother's been emotionally checked out since I've been young. My mother talks about us to each other behind our backs. She's like on a high school level with us, even though we're not in high school.
And later,
I feel like me and Ebony are really, really more reserved, are more mature. And you guys are just so loud. And it's just so look at me all the time. Are you kidding me?
College and choked his psychiatrist. So what's happened since I saw you last?
Well, from memorable guests.
She was addicted to heroin and 7 months pregnant. You not only delivered the baby, you...
Catfished by the same man.
He told me that he wanted to be honest with me.
As opposed to before when he told you he was white and black and Craig and now Chris.
That's tomorrow. Then on Wednesday.
I looked up and there was a gun to my head. He pistol whipped me here.
Police caught him within how long?
Moments after.
Jasmine are twins, 9 minutes apart, and Raven and Raynell were twins. And one set was always trying to assert their dominance on the other set. We were always testing each other. Raven and Raynell, they still live a few minutes away from each other. Me and Jasmine still live like 30 minutes away from each other. And we're all sisters, but we were always finding battles to fight against each other. Like, we have the better hair. Me and Jasmine would be like, well, we're the pretty ones. It's still so catty. The twin bond is stronger than the sister bond, 100%.
Well, Ida had 2 sets of twins, and she had them before she was 20. Now, her oldest twins, Ebony and Jasmine, say they are best friends, but Jasmine says her younger sisters, Raynell and Raven, well, they're more like cousins.
In my teen years, the home life was chaotic. It was a lot of fights. It was a lot of yelling. My mother is a huge instigator. I got smacked instead of spankings. My mother talks about us to each other behind our backs. She's like on a high school level with us, even though we're not in high school. I did get treated more harshly than my sisters. So my sister Jasmine, I feel like she was like the bomb in the house. She did get the most attention, and it kind of put me and Renelle in the background. We moved around a lot as children to different states. My mom was in the military. I believe that my mother has always chosen men over her children. We were left home alone a lot. My mother's been emotionally checked out since I've been young. So my mother was permissive enough to allow her daughters at the age of 15, 16 to be very sexually active. We were wild. I got pregnant at 18. There's a lot of things that I feel like my mom needs to take a responsibility for. I'm trying to make sure we break our cycle of abuse in my family.
Okay, guys, I'm really glad you're joining this conversation. And I've got 5 women in front of me here that have done amazingly well in this world. I mean, every one of you have chipped your way through and done well. And you've got what should be like the Knights of the Round Table here, but it's not. There's a lot of fracture in between. Why?
I don't know what it is. Like, we call each other and talk to each other every day and then turn around and find something to hate about each other.
We're evil to each other.
Evil. I don't feel like I am. I feel like for the most part,
on each other.
You wish death on each other.
Sometimes, yeah, we
Yeah,
have.
well, I grew up with 3 sisters.
Don't
I
lie,
get
Rich.
it. Yeah, I get it.
I feel like there's just a lot of division. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of different hurts and traumas that we're all going through. And mine specifically, I've just always felt like the outcast.
You don't really trust anybody.
No,
Why not?
because of the things that I went through as a child, molestation, mostly.
And this started when you were 10 years old
Yes,
and went on for how long?
about 4 years. On and
Till you
off.
were 14.
Yeah.
And you say that it sometimes happened with you in the room.
That's when it first happened. She was there, but I don't think she knew about it.
Ida was really pushed over the edge when she found out about Raynell's abuse while still in court for her own assault proceedings. That's when you found out about this, right?
That's
Take a
correct.
look.
At 10 years old, I was sexually assaulted by someone that my mother brought into my life. It went on for about 3 to 4 years. My mother was present while some of the assault took place. You were always there in the same room a lot of times when things happened too.
I was
There was
in the
times
same room? How?
he would do things to me in the same room when you were around.
I don't even understand how that's possible.
Or like there was times when you would just come into the room and he would just jump off of me.
I'm just kind of shocked. I can't even,
I know.
like, take it in. I would have never let that happen to you.
I know this wasn't gonna be easy.
I'm even thinking, how could I not know? I don't even remember this. This whole time I've been wondering, when could it have even happened?
I feel like my mother did not sufficiently protect me. It also affected my trust in not only men but females. That's why I have not made a friend. I don't trust people at all. I'm determined to break the cycle of abuse.
What do you think about that?
It's overwhelming. And I hadn't even told her that as a child, the exact same thing is what happened to me. Because we don't talk about these things. And it happened to me in the same way that she described it happening to her. How can she believe that I didn't know? And how can she forgive me? It's just a lot to take in.
I just want to ask because, like I said, we have literally never
Talked about this
ever.
Ever.
But
This is our
Raven, did you know? Like,
No.
but I didn't know.
No.
Jasmine, did you know?
No.
How did
Until-
nobody know? Like, we shared
a year ago.
rooms.
Okay, so I will say that I didn't know about it while it was happening, but I cannot remember. One of you two did come to me, before it came out. And I didn't believe my sister, when I first found out.
Dang.
You probably don't remember, Brunel. Either one of you two came to me and told me, and I literally said he could, lose his career and everything. And I know that I said that. So even if you don't remember it, I remember saying it to you. And I can't sit here and preach about accountability and not say that, that I took part in, in maybe you feeling like not comfortable enough at the time to come out in a bigger way.
I just wanted to protect her emotions. And I always told myself I'll be able to deal with it. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
Raven, why did you write in? What was your goal?
I want everybody to heal. I'm ready for change.
Well, I've got a question that I think hopefully you can answer. And the question I've got for Raven when we come back is going to be either the gateway to changing this family, or it's going to keep them on this circular pattern. And nobody is there for anybody. It's going to be one or the other when we come back.
I feel like she needs us almost more than we need her. And that if we can come together, we can make her stronger.
That's easier said than done.
It's America, but I ain't a dog either.
Get fired up.
13 years after the wedding, Peggy says Steve still refuses to consummate their marriage.
I thought you were okay with it.
I've never been okay with it.
I've told you right now.
Oh, my God.
For Dr. Phil February.
Okay.
After my mom was assaulted in the military, that's when the isolation really kicked in. She went from being hyper-aggressive to just completely shut down, reclusive. She wasn't eating. She wasn't coming out of her room. My mom still suffers from PTSD. You can physically watch her relive some dark stuff. Her body get tense, her breathing change. She kind of broke, and I don't know if she really ever recovered from that.
Did you ever recover?
Oh, God, no.
And now this is a generational legacy moving on.
Yes.
And now you're thinking, well, this is going to go on and happen with my daughters, with their children.
Yeah.
So we got 9 children here among these 4.
Correct.
Out in a world that has predators prowling around in it.
It's my worst fear.
Now, I said I had an important question for you. You said you want to see this family heal. What does healing look like for you?
Healing is going through it, taking on the emotions, having to fall down and then having to get back up and say, I went through this, but it's not going to define me and it's not going to affect my future.
Do you think your mother is a linchpin in all this? Do you think she's an important part of this?
Yes.
Why? You guys are adults. What difference does it make?
I need to see that she can rise above. She's my mother. I look up to her no matter what. So if she can rise above and overcome everything that's happened to her, there's not anything that we can't get through as a family.
I feel like it's just too much attention on Mom.
For me personally, one of the big things I need her to do is to feel comfortable with with the women that you've raised where we are right now. And I need you to take a step back because of how you see the world, it affects your judgment, and I don't think you understand how you push that onto me. My boyfriend could be a predator. So, you don't need to have him around your children. You don't need to have your husband around his children. And so what she did, I don't think what she realizes is that what she does is cause wounds. And every time that she makes a statement, every time that she does something, she picks it right off so it never heals.
You think she's hypersensitive?
Yes.
She's absolutely hypersensitive.
Yes.
She can work herself up in the middle of a conversation,
yes,
making herself more and more scared.
And she's also very effective, so that whatever she believes, she'll tell one, and because she is the matriarch, now that's what everybody believes.
Which is why I keep saying there's so much attention on Mom, but there's still a big-ass family dynamic between the rest of us that is also affecting each other and how we communicate with Mom. It's a circle.
Seeing that my mom went through all of this trauma first, and that we are all understanding of what you feel and what you've been through, I feel like she needs us almost more than we need her. Mm-hmm. And that if we can change how we view each other in our situations and that just come together, we can make her stronger.
That's easier said than done.
Coming up, Ebony says she wants to know at what point you cut your family out if they don't change. We're going to talk about that next. You are an anxiety attack. You live in an anxiety attack. You are a walking, talking panic attack.
Each set of twins has their own secrets, like they have a life or things that happen to them in their life that no one else knows about. And everybody's in their own space trying to deal with their own stuff. And we don't tell each other everything because we're scared of their response. I'm definitely sick of the secrets. I want to get to a better place.
Well, Ebony says the entire family is super defensive, ready to fight at all times, and someone's snide comments are always causing a ripple effect.
I am a control freak. I do want to control everything, and so I do want to know everything. But the only reason I know everything is because they still call and tell on each other all the time. Every day somebody's calling me something, and that is a trigger too. And it does make me meddle and want to control and want to take over what's going on. I want to fix it.
You're saying that you're wanting to get in there and tell them what they need to do to protect their children, but in the same breath you say you couldn't protect your own.
Right.
So you rode in an airplane that your mother crashed, then you got up there and flew it, and you crashed, and then you crashed again, and then you crashed again. Now you're going to teach them how to fly?
I know, it's not working.
I mean, that's not a real good resume.
I know.
So you're wanting to be hyper vigilant about them, and you know that old saying, what I fear I create. The best way that you can help these girls, and they're telling you this, I read every word that every one of you said in the interviews. We record them, we transcribe them, I read every word of them and or listen to what you've said. And every one of you clearly wants this family to heal. Nobody's here wanting to throw anybody under the bus. Not one of these 4 daughters of yours came in here with the agenda of trashing you and making sure everybody knew what a no-good, rotten bitch of a mother you were. Ooh. Nobody had that opinion. Nobody had that attitude whatsoever. In fact, a consistent theme among them was they want you to get off your own back. They want you to quit beating yourself up so much and raise yourself up and recognize that now you know better, you do better. And you've done an awful lot right. I know that because I'm looking at these 4 young women sitting in front of me here. Somebody did something right. So I know you made some bad mistakes along the way. That was then, this is now. Not even God can change what happened. But we're here now. And that's what y'all are saying, is it not?
Yes. Yes.
They're saying we're here now and we want you to recognize boundaries and stop bringing your pathological fears and creating this over-dramatic melodrama into our lives. Recognize, look, it is what it is. If we get caught in a bind, then be there to help us. But you can't come in and throw an emotional bomb into our lives every day because you're having an anxiety attack.
Right.
And you are an anxiety attack. You live in an anxiety attack. You are a walking, talking panic attack. Yeah. So everybody's like, oh my God, here she comes.
Yeah.
And not only does she come visit, she wants to take over. The good news is it's not over. You did a lot of things right, and it's time to do some more things right. When we come back, Ida says she wants everyone to heal and make up for lost time. But how do you do that? Well, there is a way. I'm going to talk about specific behaviors that everyone can embrace. We'll be right back.
You two have the exact same personality, obviously, and I don't see why that has to make you upset, Raven. Nobody is saying that I don't like you. It's like nobody in this house can handle criticism.
You're not the laid-back twins.
Hell no.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil's most memorable guest.
She was addicted to heroin, 7 months pregnant. You not only delivered the baby, you...
Catfished by the same man?
What the hell are you thinking?
That's tomorrow.
Muscle pain. I definitely feel like I've let my children down.
You gave me the bare minimum, and the things that I did need and the things that I did ask you for are the things that I couldn't get.
I was overprotective. I blew up a lot. I would yell at them. I would hit them. I would slap them. I've kicked them. Everything goes black and everything becomes a fight. And I'll even fight my own daughters. Our home is very explosive.
Now, when we were at break, you two twins, we're twin speaking over here. What were you talking about?
I don't know why. Like, even just us being across from each other just kind of like reminds me of this twin against twin thing, like us against them. And I don't know why that's like
It feels like that.
Because I saw y'all's face whenever me and Jasmine looked at each other and said we didn't believe her. Now y'all
That
looked at each other,
hurts.
and I know that. But then it's like I felt myself. I think that instantly made me defensive because you guys don't understand. Like, because there's so much things that are not understood between us. Me and Jasmine understand each other. You and Raynell understand each other.
Like,
but
there's just
no
a big
coherence.
personality drop-off, I feel like, between me and Ebony and you two. Like, I feel like me and Ebony are really, really, like, more reserved. We, you know, are more mature. You know, we're more down to earth, and you guys are just so loud. Like, you're so loud, you're so assertive, and it's just so look at me all the time. And for somebody that kind of likes to be low-key and somebody that likes to kind of just hang out in the background, it just becomes a lot.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
That's our personality type. It's always been our personality type. But why does that make you feel some type of way, though?
Because, Raven, it's like you guys do that all the time. And I'm
We
not
can't help
saying
it, we
that there's
have
anything
fun.
wrong with you, Raven. I didn't say that there was anything wrong with you. I just said that that is the drop-off. That's where the divide comes from.
Why does that have to divide us?
Raven, I'm just saying that that's what causes the personality divide. That's why it is always me and Ebony and you two, because you two have the exact same personality, obviously, and I don't see why that has to make you upset, Raven. Nobody is saying that I don't like you. Nobody's saying that I don't love you. Nobody is saying any of that. I'm just saying that that's the difference. And that's the problem, is that anytime somebody says, it's like nobody in this house can handle criticism.
Nobody's laid back. Neither one of you are laid back.
Jasmine, I know
you, Mom, seriously?
You're not the laid back twins.
Hell no.
Yes, compared to Raven
Jasmine,
and
no, you are not. You
Ebony.
can match my energy all the time.
I have something to say. Before I knew we were coming on the show, Ebony, like I think it was a week before, you told me that we were talking about the person who offended us, and you told me something that you've that's happened, not to you, but that you've witnessed this person do. So if you've witnessed things and you saw this person's personality, the perversion of this person, how could you guys not believe me?
Looking at things from a certain perspective, like I didn't know what that behavior meant at that time, because you have to remember, we didn't grow up around like a whole bunch of like men. There were no men around when we were younger.
uncles.
I didn't know what it meant. I didn't realize at the time, because I was still a child, that it was inappropriate. So when you told me that, I didn't see like how it could be true. And I do apologize for that.
That was a fair question, and I appreciated you being honest enough to say that you didn't believe it at the time. You didn't have to say that, but she's being transparent about it, and I'm glad she did and owns up to it.
Yeah.
Because that's where it begins. And let me tell you guys something. Each of you have some experiences in your life personally that I would consider to be emotional baggage. Would you agree?
Yes.
And you're going to make a decision here, and you got to make this decision here today. And this is first an individual decision. It's what you're going to do with your own individual emotional baggage. Because I've listened to everything you said, and nobody has really taken a sustained course of action towards resolving your own individual issues. You know, I see people do that all the time. It's kind of like you see people in life. They'll be over here and they'll be over here, and they're getting up in the morning. They go to work and they go, okay, gotta get my emotional baggage and carry it over here to work, set it down, and then they work and they say, okay, now I got to go to lunch, and they go, oh, okay, gotta get my emotional baggage and carry it over here and set it down at lunch. Then they get up to leave and they go, oh nope, forgot my emotional baggage. Gotta pick that up. And by the end of the day, by the end of the week, by the end of the month, it's like, holy I'm tired of carrying this. You've been carrying it your whole lives. You've got to do something. Each one of you has to resolve that individually you're going to do something about your own emotional baggage. And I can tell every one of you that the things that happened to you as a child, you have zero accountability for, but you have 100% responsibility for what you do about it now. If you do that, then we can go to part 2 of this. Because when you come to a relationship, whether it's romantic, family, whatever, you either contribute to or contaminate that relationship based on what you bring. So are you 5 contaminators or are you 5 contributors?
I feel like we're some contaminators because everybody feels like the best thing to do is to just get away from the family. And, you know, you feel like you're healing because you're not being triggered by, you know, the people who are around you. But when you come back, you're still having the same issue. So you're not really solving the problem.
There's only a few letters difference in the word, but there's a whole lot of difference between healing and hiding. And I've got a plan to help this family do the healing when we come back. You never get through parenting. When your kids grow up and go off on their own, you just parent from a distance. Okay, but you're always going to be a parent. So you don't ever have to feel like I'm going to lose connection with my 4 daughters here. The only way you're going to lose connection with them is if you sever the tie by violating the relationship. And you're violating those relationships. And look, you guys, forgiveness goes a long, long way. There's power in forgiveness. You know, I've forgiven people that don't even know they've transgressed against me. Because it's not about them, it's about me, and it's a choice. And that's the first step in hitting the reset button. And yeah, you can get along fine by going off your own way, but man, you would be giving up a huge support system. I told you I grew up with 3 sisters, and I've buried one of them. Robin grew up with sisters, and she's buried one of them, both of us just recently. And when Robin buried her sister, Cindy, that was her person. You know, you have that one person in the world that you can tell everything, that you can communicate to everything, that you can lean on for everything, that you share everything. That was her person. And y'all probably know Cindy. She was the victim of a random act of violence. And someone threw acid on her when she went under an underpass in her car and burned her over like 90% of her body. And I can tell you that when they're gone, they're gone. And then you say, boy, those differences that seemed so big.
Exactly.
Well, you say, just give me a second chance. Give me one more day. Just give me one more day. But there's not one more day. And I can't tell you how many people that have been in that situation that said they would give their front seat in hell to have had this conversation before that happened. And you're getting that conversation now. Be the hero in the relationship that says this stops. And Mom, you need to lead by example. You need to say, it's time for me to stop running from my pain, turn around and face it. Because you can run, but you'll just die tired. You need to face it and deal with it. When you've been molested, when you've been sexually violated, it leaves scars in you that just don't heal on their own. They just don't. You know that. You know that. You got to deal with them. And I will help you guys do that. And you say, I don't trust. Let me tell you something. You trust people as a function of how much you can trust yourself to deal with what they do.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to instill in you guys, because when you five come together, what a powerful force this family can be. Don't leave that behind. Don't leave that behind. If I arrange this help for you, will you take it?
Absolutely.
Will you take it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that point right now. But I suspect we're going to see each other again.
I suspect we probably should.
Coming up, what happens when a woman tries to compete with her boss? Stick around and find out. We'll be right back. Do you ever challenge your boss to a competition? Or what about the person that helps you get jobs? Would you tell him, I can beat you in a game, knowing he's the key to your next gig? Well, my next guest, Corinne, is here to challenge her manager, Kyle, in the fun game Solitaire Grand Harvest. Now, this is a free app game you can play right on your cell phone, which makes it perfect when you're on the go. Now, Corinne and Kyle, thank you both for being here.
Hi.
Hi.
So I understand that you're an actress and a singer, and Kyle, you're her manager.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, hi, Dr. Phil. Nice to meet
Good
you.
to meet you.
Yes, I am an actress and a singer. I have been in theater since I was 8. 17, I took on television, and now I just make music full time.
Cool. So it sounds like a busy schedule for sure. So how do you find time for yourself?
Well, acting and singing definitely do take up a lot of time. So schedule has been crazy, but I like to wind down and relax playing games on my phone.
So Kyle, tell me about yourself.
Hi, Dr. Phil. After I graduated college, I started managing super talented artists and producers like Corinne herself. And, you know, entertainment can be pretty stressful. So I just need a break sometimes.
Yeah, no question. So with your busy schedule, when do you have time to play the game?
Well, whenever I have 5 minutes, that's when I really take the time to play Solitaire Grand Harvest and just unwind and relax.
Yeah, well, let's find out. So let's just get started. You guys grab your phones.
Cool.
And we're going to see who can finish their solitaire first. And when you finish, just shout out, I won. So if you're ready, just go ahead and go. Now, Solitaire Grand Harvest is a perfect way to take a break because the game is set in nature on a relaxing, open farm. It's visually calming with soothing music, and that alone can help you relax. At the same time, it's challenging because you often need to go through multiple attempts before you successfully complete a level. But there are surprises and power-ups to help you reach your goal. And the app also has features like mini games within the game. There's never a dull moment. So play along to keep your brain active while taking some time to yourself like Corinne and Kyle. So how are you guys doing?
I'm getting close.
One of the things that's really fun is the graphics are great in this game. So it's really fun to look at. It's pleasing to the eye, and the action never stops.
I won.
All right. Well, you guys are both winners. And to thank you for being such great sports, Solitaire Grand Harvest is giving you both an e-gift card for $100 to spend on anything you like. So take a break with Solitaire Grand Harvest. Go to the App Store or Google Play to download the game for free today, and you'll get a special welcome bonus yourself of 20,000 coins. It's a lot of fun. Look, I want to thank all of my guests today for being here. Thanks to Corinne and Kyle. You guys are fun.
Thank you.
For more about today's episode, or if you'd like to share your story, log on to drphil.com. If you're currently in the Los Angeles area or plan to be soon, we'd love to have you join us here in our studio audience. Tickets are free.